Audemars Piguet is one of the most recognizable watch brands in the world, but what they're best known for is the Gerald Genta designed Royal Oak. That may have all changed with the introduction of the Code 11.59 Starwheel. Today we're diving into the world of haute horology with a close look at the newly released AP Starwheel. It may be the most exciting watch in their lineup, but does it live up to all of the hype? It's been a week on my wrist to help answer that very question. AP's connection to the Wandering Hours complication dates back to 1991, when they were the first watchmaker to develop this form of timekeeping for a wristwatch. The roots of the Wandering Hours comes from the 17th century Roman clockmakers, when it was commissioned and built for Pope Alexander VII in the 1660s. This makes it one of the oldest non-traditional methods of displaying time. So the complication itself is quite old, with a rich history in timekeeping. The Wandering Hours is named for the unique way that it displays time. Instead of the conventional hour and minute hands that sweep the dial, Wandering Hours are typically represented on a series of rotating discs or satellites. Each of these carries a number, the hour, which wanders across a designated arc or sector to indicate the minutes. When one hour ends, the next hour magically appears at the starting point of the arc, ready to make its journey. It's a beautiful, complex way to represent the passage of time, where each hour embarks on a journey across the dial. In essence, the Wandering Hour complication is more than just a function in a watch. It's an ode to the very nature of time, always moving, always changing, and always, well, wandering. AP originally released the Starwheel in 1991, and it featured a more traditional 36mm case, which was slim and elegant in design language, and more aligned with AP's dressier pieces, such as their ultra-thin perpetual calendar. It was available in yellow gold, platinum, and later rose gold, and these watches often had guilloche or other engraved dials. AP discontinued the Starwheel 5 years later in '96, but it did see a brief revival with some limited production runs. Before we get into my experience wearing this watch, let's start with some quick specs. The Audemars Piguet Code 11.59 Starwheel boasts a 41mm case crafted from a combination of 18-karat white gold and black ceramic, giving it a modern yet luxurious appeal. The lug-to-lug distance is 49.5mm. It sits at a height of 10.7mm and is topped with a scratch-resistant double-curved sapphire crystal, and offering water resistance up to 30 meters. While it's a much larger and sportier piece than the original release, it lays on my 7 1/4 wrist perfectly. Powering this timepiece is the automatic in-house caliber 4310, a modified 4309 that creates the Wandering Hours complication, which has a frequency of 4 Hz and a pretty commendable 70 hours of power reserve. While the Starwheel is not an inexpensive timepiece at around $60,000 USD, I do think it's reasonably priced at this level of finish, materials, and unique complication. Moving on to its standout feature, the Wandering Hours complication is the star of the show here. Instead of conventional hands, 3 discs rotate continuously throughout the day to display the hours, inspired by celestial mechanics. This is complemented by a minimalist dial design featuring polished bezels and an aventurine glass base, adding a touch of sparkle to the otherwise dark tones of the dial. The case construction itself is a blend of intricate finishing techniques, combining brush surfaces with mirror polished bezels on the ceramic and white gold components. The font on the hour disc and minute track is decidedly modern. Catering perhaps to a sportier aesthetic with its rubberized fabric strap and 41mm size, the Starwheel still feels classy and unique on the wrist. So what's it like wearing the Audemars Piguet Code 11.59 Starwheel? Initially, I was struck by its physical presence and the attention to detail in both the case and movement. The continuous rotation of the hour disc is memorizing to watch and adds a unique dynamic to telling time. With the Wandering Hour disc levitating above like satellites, communicating information back to Earth, it's downright interstellar. The watch has an impressive degree of visual detail, particularly the polished bezels on the tiny dial components. The aventurine oscillates between shades of purple with the light while glittering like the night sky. The strap feels much higher quality than would ever come across in photos. It looks like canvas, but it's much more, textured and coated in a strong rubber. I prefer the case on this canvas and rubber. It dresses the watch down just enough without feeling cheap and gives it a more modern look. I found that I can wear this watch in athleisure wear, as I'm dressed now, and just as comfortably paired with chinos and a dress shirt. This level of detail here exudes craftsmanship and sophistication, making it a compelling choice for both collectors and enthusiasts. It's undoubtedly a statement piece, with its blend of traditional horology and modern design elements. While Vacheron stays mostly traditional and Patek plays on heritage with pops of color, the new Starwheel is a watch that is mechanically interesting but also has pedigree and undeniable expertise in the way it's manufactured. Its design is deliberately bold and profoundly modern. In conclusion, the Audemars Piguet Code 11.59 Starwheel represents a bold step forward in watchmaking innovation, reviving a classic complication with contemporary flair. While its price point may be steep, the craftsmanship and technical prowess on display justifies the investment for those passionate about fine timepieces. Would you consider adding the AP Starwheel to your collection? I can say, without hesitation, that I would have this in my personal watch collection. It would fit nicely between the sportiness of a Rolex and the elegance of a Patek, blending the two worlds in a truly unique and romantic wearing wristwatch.